Most people say that you don't have to mix business and friends or family. Do you feel that when you work with your friend, it kind of reflects or it kind of changes the way you behave before having the business and after having a business?
It does change the way you talk and interact with each other. Now, even when we're hanging out as friends, like I'm at his house, having dinner or something like that, most of the conversation veers back to what's going on in the business. But I think that both of us enjoy business so much that it doesn't phase us anymore. It's just kind of what we
Hmm.
talk about nowadays rather than talking about golf and all the random stuff we used to talk about,
Okay.
right?
And when you are starting out, you have these big players in your town and in your cities that are there, and you have to compete against them. So how did you compete against all these players or all these roofers who have been into business like a decade or 2 decades or even 3 decades or even 50 years?
What we do is specifically write down a list. I got this from Alex Ramosi, if you know who that is. We
Yes.
write down a list of every single problem that the customer can have in the roofing process, every situation, every little thing, as far as like the crew having their tools spread across the yard instead of in one nice little spot in the yard, because people don't like to come home when their roofs get installed and the tools be spread everywhere.
Uh,
Everything. We wrote them all down, and then we were saying, okay, how do we attack each one of these so that this customer experience can just be unbelievable?
So,
And we're like,
what are the top three things that you feel someone should avoid, that where you messed up, and you would advise them that these are the things you should not do when you are getting into roofing?
one of the first things is to lengthen your time horizon, hopping in, at least for ownership. So if you want to be an owner, but you also want to make, a lot of money for yourself and your family in in the next 2-3 years, and have a lot of money liquid and go on vacations and stuff like that, it's not really realistic. It's not a heavy cash flow game at the very beginning. You're not super liquid at the very beginning.
And every industry have their own support system, I would say. And in roofing, we have these conferences, we have these expos, we have all these things and seminars. Everyone is kind of doing that. And I think you are the best person to ask this question. Like, how do you see the support system in this roofing industry?
It's not an abundance mindset if you're trying to tear other people down. I do understand that there's some bad apples in the industry, but when you talk to some people, it's kind of tense sometimes, and it's just funny, like why I never understood why you'd be tense with each other, because if you look at parallel industries like solar, for instance, those guys are always collaborating, and they do
Yes.
large collaborations, and they're always together, and they're on trips with each other from different companies and stuff. And it's funny, it's not like that in the roofing industry for whatever reason. Everyone thinks they do it the right way, and other people do it the wrong way.